morning. Good morning. I'm audible, right? You can hear me, right? Am I audible enough? Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. So good morning. So today we'll just continue with the first unit. So only few more things to cover in first unit. That is, we have completed almost all the things, but exercise alone pending. I hope you will be receiving your materials today or tomorrow. It has been posted. So before going into that, I want us to we have completed your choose the best answers, right? So similarly, we'll just complete with your fill ups, true or false, very short answers, and after that we'll just move on to the next topic. Okay, so starting from fill in the blanks, if you know the answers, you can just type out your answers. So first question, leaves takes in carbon dioxide through dash. Leaves takes in carbon dioxide through dash. I've already posted it in the draft. You will be getting your content today or tomorrow. Yeah, stomata. Very good. So leaves take in carbon dioxide through stomata. Very good. Second question is tubes that carry water from the roots to different parts of the plant parts are called as dash. Tubes that carry water from the roots to different plant parts are called as dash. Yeah, very good. No root hair. No, it's not root hair. It's xylem. Correct. So those who have answered xylem, it's right. Third question. In a cell, nucleus is surrounded by dash. In a cell, nucleus is surrounded by a dash. Good. All right. So the answer is cytoplasm. No, it's not. Yes, book back exercise. Okay, so the answer is cytoplasm. So in a cell, nucleus is surrounded by cytoplasm. Very good. Fourth one, a lichen comprises a fungus and algae and sometimes a dash. Lichen comprises a fungus and algae and sometimes a dash. Yes, it's book exercise. Okay, all right. Yes, photosynthesizing bacterium, not rhizobium, photosynthesizing bacterium. That's the right answer. So the answer is photosynthesizing bacterium. Okay. Fifth one, the opening and the closing of stomata is controlled by dash. Opening and the closing of stomata is controlled by dash. Good. So it's guard cells, not guardian, it's guard cells. Guard cells. Okay, not guardian, it's guard. Okay, guard cells. Good. So now answer the true or false. So true or false, if you know, you can answer it. So write the true or false. So first one is some bacteria are saprophytes, saprotrophs. Okay. So the answer is true, good. And plants can absorb nitrogen directly from the air. Plants can absorb nitrogen directly from the air. Good. So it's false. Yes, they cannot observe it directly from the air. And carbohydrate is made up of carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. Carbohydrate is made up of carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. Okay, again, mixed answers. It's actually false. So carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen, not nitrogen. Okay, so that's false. And rhizobium lives in the leaves of pea plants. Rhizobium lives in the leaves of pea plants. Okay, that's also a false. Very good. So it's not in the leaves, so it's in root area. Okay, so that's the right answer. And insectivorous plant has chlorophyll. An insectivorous plant has chlorophyll. Again, I'm getting mixed answers. Good. So the answer is true. Yes, of course, they contain chlorophyll. Good. And fourth one, write very short answer questions. So one word answers has to be told. First one, give an example of total parasite. Give an example of total parasite. Okay. Good. So the answer is Cuscuta. Okay, so Cuscuta will be the right answer. Second one, name the chemical solution that changes its color to blue-black in the presence of starch. I hope you remember this. We have discussed during our activities. Very good, very good. So the answer is iodine solution. Third one, what is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms? What is the ultimate source of energy? Not sun, it's sunlight. You're not supposed to write it as sun, it's sunlight. Okay, sunlight only, it's the right answer. So you write it as sunlight. Okay. And fourth one, what is destarching? What is destarching? Yes, good, Nitish. So it is to remove starch or to remove the starch which is present in the leaves. Okay, so it's like starch which is present in the leaves will be used up. So that is called as destarching. Like in an artificial manner, by keeping it in the under the dark room, you can do that. Okay, so removing the starch from the leaves, not from the plant, it's from the leaves. Okay, from all the leaves they'll be taking. Process of removing the starch is called destarching. Okay. And lastly, in which form is carbohydrate stored in plants? And in which form is carbohydrates stored in plants? Very good, Nitish. Very good. Now, Phil also right. Not just glucose. Okay, so it's starch and glucose. Not oxygen. No, no, no. It's glucose and starch. No, no, no. Glucose and starch is the right answer. Okay. All right. So I hope you're clear with all the things. Now we'll move on to short answer questions. I'll just put your PDF so that you can just learn, like you can just see, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay. So we'll start from very short answers. So define the process of photosynthesis. Your first question is define the process of photosynthesis. So what you are supposed to write, the answer is the process of making food, that is glucose, by which green plants using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight is called as photosynthesis. So along with the photosynthesis, you're supposed to write the chemical equation, that is C6H12, 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives C6H12 and O6. Okay, so this will be the first question. So define the process of photosynthesis along with the chemical equation. So you're writing what definition first has to be written. So the process of making food, okay, by green plants using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight is called as photosynthesis. You are supposed to write it, and also along with it chemical equation is also main. Okay, so each carries 1 mark. Like if the process of photosynthesis alone, if you are writing and if you are omitting this chemical equation, you'll not be given full marks. So kindly write the whole thing. Okay. And the second one, so yeah, next question is differentiate between partial parasite and total parasite in plants. Okay, so the second question will be partial parasite and the total parasite. So first you write it in a tabulation column. So the total parasite is plant that cannot make its own food because that does not have chlorophyll. So it depends totally on the host plant for food and water. So they are called as total parasite. So example is Cuscuta. Similarly, partial parasite includes plant that has chlorophyll and makes it food, but it depends on the host plant just for water and certain nutrients. So they are called as partial parasites. So example includes mistletoe. So this is the differentiation between the total parasite and the partial parasite. Okay, so I hope it's clear with you. And the next thing is, how do farmers improve the nitrogen content in the soil? So the third question is, how do farmers improve the nitrogen content in the soil? So after growing crops such as wheat or rice, farmers usually grow leguminous crops. So what are the leguminous crops? They call it as bean, pea or gram to maintain fertility of the soil. Okay, so the practice is known as crop rotation, and crops such as bean, pea and gram produces nitrogenous substances in the roots and makes the soil fertile. So plants also get nitrogen from chemical fertilizers and farmers add it to the soil. So this is how they improve the nitrogen content in the soil. So first thing is like, after growing crops such as wheat, they'll be growing the leguminous plant. So why leguminous plant is present? Because to have the nitrogen substances in they have in the roots, so they make the soil fertile. So for that only they also add chemical fertilizers. Okay, so to add the nitrogen to the soil. So this is will be the third question. And moving on to your last question. So what are the general conditions in which necessary for photosynthesis? So first thing is carbon dioxide, second will be water, third will be sunlight, and lastly chlorophyll. So they are general conditions that is necessary for the photosynthesis to take place. So these are the four conditions which is referred. These are the four conditions which is necessary for the photosynthesis process. So these are the four questions for your 2 marks. Okay, so short answer question. Moving on to your long answer. Okay, so long answer, first question is, how do green plants get the raw materials for photosynthesis? Describe them in a detailed manner. So you're supposed to write about all the raw materials. So what are the raw materials? One is carbon dioxide, second one is water, third is chlorophyll, and lastly sunlight. So you're supposed to write about all the four things. Okay, so it's all four things is necessary to be written it. So you may write it in a brief manner or in a detailed manner, but all the four things has to be written. Okay, so first thing, yeah, what are the raw materials? So raw materials includes carbon dioxide, includes water, includes sunlight, and lastly the chlorophyll. So carbon dioxide is to underside of leaf contains tiny pores called as stomata. Each stomata has the ability to open and close. It is controlled by guard cells. So the leaves takes in the carbon dioxide from the air to prepare their food. Okay, so this will be the introductory part of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is first thing they are talking about stomata. You have to study about stomata, and after that it will be how it just opens and closes. How this opening and closing is done by? It is done by the guard cell. So after that, what happens is like the carbon dioxide will be penetrated through the air through the stomata. So that's what it is in the first thing. Next is the water. So plant absorbs water and minerals from the soil through the root hairs, which is present in the roots, to leaves and pipe-like tubes called as xylem. Okay, so second one is plant absorbs water and minerals from the soil through the root hairs present in roots to the leaves through the pipeline tubes called as xylem. So third one is chlorophyll. So the cell in the green leaves and young stem of a plant contains tiny green structures called as chloroplast. So they appear green because of the green pigment they contain, chlorophyll. And lastly, functions of chlorophyll to get trap energy from the sunlight to prepare the food of the plant. So with this, your detailed answer, first one gets over. So this is what you're writing. So you're writing about carbon dioxide, you're writing about water, you're writing about chlorophyll, and lastly about sunlight. Moving on to the second question. So second question is, what is heterotrophic nutrition and what is the different types of heterotrophic nutrition? Define with each example. So it's actually a little bit bigger question. So you're supposed to write about heterotrophic nutrition in a very detailed manner. So heterotrophs, like plants, some animals are heterotrophs too, so they depend on the animal, plants or the animal for nutrition. So they are divided into three groups. First one will be parasites, so parasitic plants. So in parasitic plants you will be writing about two, so one is partial and one is total, and here insectivorous, and lastly symbiotic plants. So first thing is parasitic plants, first one will be parasitic plants. So plants are those that depend on other plants for food and water. So plants on which the parasites plant grow is called host plant. So first one is depend on the plants for food and water, and the plants which the parasites grow. Okay, so particular plant they are called as host plant. Parasitic plants have specialized root that penetrate into the body of the host plant and absorb nutrients and water from it. So what they do is like they penetrate into the host plant and they absorb the water and nutrient from it. So the plant cannot make its own food because it does not have chlorophyll. So you call it as total parasite. So here the example will be given for total parasite and followed by the plant has chlorophyll and make its food, but it depends on the host plant and water and contains certain nutrients. So they are called as partial parasites. So that example will be mistletoe. Okay, so this will be the parasitic plants. Okay, so this will be the parasitic plants and this will be the example of parasitic plants. Okay, example of parasitic plants. Okay, so the next one will be insectivorous plants. So insectivorous plants is they have chlorophyll in their leaves. They prepare their food through the photosynthesis, but as they grow in the soil, they does not contain minerals. They try to obtain these minerals from the insects. So insectivorous is like they get the minerals from the insect. So even though they have the chlorophyll, they'll be getting it from the insect. So one of the example they have asked, so you will be writing it about the pitcher plant. Okay, so pitcher plant you have supposed to write about the pitcher plant. Some example, first we are writing it pitcher plant. So pitcher plant has the leaves shaped structure like huge pots and breaks with the lid. So insect slips into the pitcher plant and drown in the wall of nectar. So and the lid will be closed and insect is digested inside the pitcher. So this will be the example of the insectivorous plant. And lastly the symbiotic plants, which is mutual beneficial. So mutual benefit will be done. So such mutual benefit relationship is benefited is called as symbiosis. Best example is seen in lichen. So examples, a lichen is composed of particular kind of fungus and algae. Algae contains chlorophyll, while the food will be shared with the fungus, and they provide water and minerals to the algae. So this will be the example of symbionts or symbiosis. So with this, your second question is over. So maybe the second question, no, you're not, if you write it on your own, no, it's not like that. You're supposed to learn from the book as such is, and you have to write, okay? You may use some kind of word of your own, but whatever the exact explanation is given, okay, you're supposed to write as such. All right. So third detailed answer, they've given about experiment to prove plants give out during oxygen. Okay, so they have asked you the explanation experiment. So you are writing this first, you are writing the aim, next one you'll be writing the materials required, third will be procedure, and followed by the procedure there comes the observation and the result. Okay, that is enough. So observation and observation, procedure, and again observation. Okay, so this will be the okay, so this will be the detailed answer for your third question. So oxygen, which is required, which is coming out as the photosynthesis. You need not write the skill, focus, experimental, manipulation, observation, analytical. That's not written. Till the observation part alone, it is enough. Okay, and your fourth question will be explain that how plants get nitrogen to synthesize protein. Okay, This will be the fourth question. So nitrogen gas is present in abundance. So you'll be writing about nitrogen gas. So nitrogen gas will be present in abundance. However, the plants are not able to take in nutrient nitrogen in their gaseous form. So they depend on certain bacteria called as rhizobium, and where it is living. It is living in the root nodules of leguminous plants such as gram, pea, and bean. So the bacteria take up nitrogen directly from the air and convert into water-soluble nitrogen substances. So plants take in these nitrogen substances and makes the protein grow. So this process by which nitrogen the air is converted by bacteria such as rhizobium into water-soluble substances is called as nitrogen fixation. So this will be your last question. Okay, so you are supposed to write how plants getting in nitrogen. So nitrogen fixation, you're more like writing about nitrogen fixation, and after that it helps in the plants, actually helps in the fixing up of the proteins also. So with this, your unit 1 gets over. So you'll be right. You have four short answers and you have 4 long answers. So you are supposed to learn the short answers as well as the long answers. Okay. Any doubts so far, students? We'll just move on to the next if you're not having any doubts. Any doubts, ma? Material will be posted soon. Maybe today you'll be getting your materials. You can get your materials today. It has already been drafted in the classroom. All right. So now moving on to the next unit. So the next unit is nutrition in plants. Okay. So second unit will be nutrition in plants. Nutrition in animals. So similar the way we talked about nutrition in plants, you are supposed to will be talking about in unit 2. You will be talking about nutrition in animals. Can you just tell me any idea of what nutrition it is present? Okay, what are the various types of nutrients? Any idea what are the nutrients which is present in the animals? Any ideas? Okay. No, I'm not talking about food items. What I am talking is how to say, what are the nutritions? Okay, nutritions like they may take only yes, very good. That's what it is. Very good, Bhavadarani. So herbivore, holozoic nutrition, some kind. Yeah, that's what the nutrition I'm asking. Actually, today will be your last date of submission. Okay, I'll be giving you 2 days time for your activity, grace time, but don't do that again. You can submit on Sunday. Okay, done. So holozoic nutrition. So other than herbivore nutrition, what are the other nutrients? What are the other heterotrophs present? Or okay, holozoic nutrition, digestion. Okay. First, we'll be talking about all the heterotrophs. So we were talking about plants heterotrophs, right? So plants which is depending on the other. So similar way, animals will also depend on the other. So they are called as heterotrophs, right? So heterotrophs, you have this herbivore, you have carnivores, and you have omnivores. So when you talk about herbivore, carnivore, omnivores, you may get some kinds of examples. So for one example, for herbivore is like all more like domesticated animals like cow, deer, and wild animals like deer. They come under herbivore. Okay, even elephants comes under herbivore. But when you talk about carnivore, that is flesh. Okay, tearing of animal. Okay, they comes under carnivore, like tiger, lion, and all those substances. And omnivore is like bear. Okay, other than that, you have the scavenger and all those things we were talking during our last thing. So all animals are heterotrophs. They depend on plants and animals in their surroundings for food. Okay, so there were different ways of taking in food. So there are different ways in taking in the food. Okay, so when you talk about different ways, okay, one major thing is like we are actually multicellular organization. So we have to talk about unicellular organization and multicellular organization, right? So what is this unicellular organization? Only one single cell will be present. Okay, single celled organism will be called as unicellular organization. You may ask about what is called a single celled organism. Okay, the respiration, digestion, what else, excretion, and maybe assimilation. So all the things will be taken in a single cell. Okay, in this only one single cell will be doing all the substances, all the process will be done in only one single cell. Okay, so they are called as single celled organism. Okay, not a worm. So example of single cell may be amoeba. Amoeba is a single celled organism. At multicellular organization, multicellular organ, what is exactly is that if a digestion is present, digestion will be doing some how with what are the organs which is present for digestion. You can take from mouth. Okay, from mouth it goes till the stomach. So you have various kinds of organs which is doing the digestion process. Okay, after taking in the thing, digestion, small intestine, large intestine, followed by excretion. So there are many ways, there are many organs will be involved in one kind of process. So that is called as multicellular organization. So major two is, one is unicellular. Unicellular is all the process will be done in a single cell, and multicellular is various kinds of organs will be performing different activities. So that is called as multicellular organization. So here most animals take food in the body through the mouth. That feeding is called as holozoic nutrition. Okay, so what is called as holozoic nutrition? The food which is taken from the mouth. Okay, the food substances which is taken from the mouth, and they are called as holozoic nutrition. So we'll now talk about holozoic nutrition. So holozoic nutrition, what exactly is holozoic nutrition? Food which is taken with the help of mouth. Okay, so they are called as holozoic nutrition. And when you talk about holozoic nutrition, they are occurring. Okay, how many stages? They are totally occurring in 5 stages. Okay, 5 stages is being done in holozoic nutrition. So what are the first stage? So first stage, okay, first stage is includes ingestion. Okay, we'll just see everything detailed maybe in the next class, but just the introductory part alone. Next one will be digestion. Ingestion will be followed by the digestion. Digestion will be followed by absorption. Absorption will be followed by assimilation, and assimilation will be followed by exgestion. Okay, so ingestion, first thing ingestion. Okay, after mouth, okay, they have this ingestion will be followed. Okay, ingestion will be followed by the digestion, and the digestion in the digestion will be followed by the absorption will be followed by assimilation, and assimilation will be followed by exgestion. So when you talk about these 5 substances, there are various kinds of animals which takes in the food by different means. Okay, so some may take it in the, they may take it in the hand and take it from the mouth. Some may use the what they may use the tongue to take. They may use their maybe stick in the body, and after that they'll be taking in the food. So there are various ways of holozoic nutrition, but the first main stages, okay, main stages includes these 5. First is ingestion, next is digestion, third is absorption, fourth is assimilation, and lastly the exgestion. Okay, okay, very good. Yes, very good. Organism which is made up of more than one cell is called as multicellular. Good. Yes, whatever is food taken with the help of mouth is called as holozoic. Okay. All right. So I hope you are clear with these things. Maybe we'll just see all the others in the later on classes. Okay. We'll just see everything in the later on classes. Are you having any doubts till this? So how many of you have completed your activity which we have given? How many of you have completed your activity? Okay. Okay, today we'll be submitting. All right. So those who haven't completed, I'm giving you a day, time or two. You have to submit before on Monday. Okay. So you'll be given 2 days time exact. So for those who haven't completed, so you're supposed to do and submit it before Monday. Is that okay? Those who haven't submitted, who haven't done your activities, please do tell me your names now. Okay. So you are submitting it today. Who haven't completed yet? Okay. So that's what. If you are doing it today, you start doing it today. Maybe on Sunday you can finish your activity. So try to do it today. Start your thing today and submit it before on Monday. Is that clear? Meanwhile, go through the notes which have been given. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. The notes which is sent to you, you can ask me any doubts. You can ask me on Tuesday. You have your class on Tuesday, so probably you can ask me on Tuesday. Is it clear, children? Okay. So Tuesday, I'll be telling you the list who have completed and who have not. I mean, I'll just tell you the marks also. Fine. Okay. So have a great weekend. Thank you.